Hello and welcome to the REL 10F Week 3 recap. I'm Chaos Blue.
I am Ninja Pirate Assassin.
And we are here recapping like we have recapped before several times. Let's go straight into the games. First up, we have Primal Concrete Sledge versus the Thompsons, which was won by the Chaos 2-0.
Not a lot of armor breaks in this game, so doesn't look like they just plowed their way through the humans like they might expect.
The humans, in fact, de facto got more removals than the Chaos did. Hello?
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was flipping through tabs.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you cut off or if you were just being silent.
Yeah, so it looks like 6 removals to 5 total on the game, with the humans coming out with 4 casualties sustained out of their 5 players removed.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like humans induced are the Slayer for this game, who got one of the removals, unfortunately, based on the SPP. But 9 SPP on a Blitzer is nothing to scoff at.
It certainly is not. Otherwise, I mean, this looks like a game Chaos won. They got a lot more SPP. It's an interesting note, I think, that Chaos won handedly, but still had the greater number of removals.
It blocks almost identical, 41 to 39.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like they were pitch clearing or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, other than that, I don't think there's really much else to say about this game. At least there's nothing obvious.
My guess is something went wrong offensively for the humans. Maybe they had a based cage or something like that, which caused them to lose the ball in an otherwise roughly even matchup.
I do think that would stand to reason. No big injuries either. Okay, let's move on. The next game is WRU Slan FC versus Hell's Kitchen, which was won by Space Lion.
Bit of an expected victory there, although there is one thing that I don't see, which is no dead catchers.
He finally stopped. Excelsius finally stopped losing catchers. Oh, okay. Apparently Insecticide got... Okay, apparently in that game we just looked at, it was... Okay, I'm just gonna go back for a hot second here. Apparently, for the Human vs. Chaos game, it went for the humans' favor in the first half and the Chaos favor in the second half, which I guess makes sense. Anyway, back to the game we were actually talking about. Yeah, it's I think this is the first game all season where a catcher has not died on this team.
Yeah, in fact, only 1 casualty sustained for the Slan. Or I should say Kislev. Although I'm just going to call them Slan the rest of the season, I think, because the coach wants to call them Slan, so...
I mean, it is right there in the name. I do wish I knew what the WRUFC stood for.
Sounds like a soccer name of some kind to me. I'm an American, so I got nothing on soccer, but
I mean, look, it's just initials to me, okay? It could be anything.
But yeah, it's 2 successful passes, 32 blocks to 48, which, I mean, they're going up against Norse. Norse is going to outblock Kislev pretty much always, especially the way that this Kislev team is built. I'm guessing something unlucky happened to Kislev on offense.
Oh, you know what they weren't unlucky about, though? I'm looking at the dice rolls here. 9 leaps, 0 failures.
Yeah, it's definitely some dice you can't really complain about.
Yeah, that's gotta feel good. Hopefully they were meaningful leaps.
It looks like somebody threw a 4-person fireball that didn't knock anything down.
Well, that does happen sometimes.
Yeah, this is why we go wizards generally rather than fireballs. But yeah, it looks like Kislev had a short pass.
Looks
flew
like
into catcher in the end zone, tossed the ball, catcher fumbled it, bounced out of bounds, flew into the Kislev backfield on turn 15.
So failed to pass to draw the game on turn 15. That's a shame, but it happens sometimes. Like in the last 3 weeks, I think I have. You know what? No, we're not going to get into that. We're not here to talk about my poor performance. We're here to talk about.
To me, that sounds like Kislev in a nutshell. Sometimes the dice go your way and you don't fail a single leap all game, and then the easy pass at the end is where you hit all your ones.
Yeah. And sometimes you fumble the ball into the backfield, allowing your opponent to get an easy score. Moving on. We have the Thunderous Puffins versus the Meat Squad, and it was won by the Elves.
Yeah, Loner MVP. Gotta love Loner MVPs. Be curious to see if you bought him or what that injury was.
Just badly hurt.
Lots of SPP on the behalf of the Elves in a game that was only 1-0.
Oh, yes, there is. Wow. How many passes did they make? 4 successful passes, 1 touchdown, 2 injuries.
They outblocked the Chorps, 45-38.
I think, let's see. The elf that scored also did one of the passes. Otherwise, every single one of those SVP actions was on a different elf.
Yeah, that's about as good as you can hope for, I think. Especially early on high elves when you want to get at least a level on a bunch of pieces.
It's definitely interesting. Okay. Wait. Was that no, it wasn't. Last of all, Big Ma's Blitzers versus the Exqueakables! And the natural one, and well, it's not natural yet. One of the one-turners got, because, yeah, this team has 2 one-turners. And one of them
has 2 movement 10 gutters, specifically. It has 0 one-turners at the moment.
Okay,
but it'll have 2.
Even if it's not a natural one-turner, it's still a one-turner.
A one-push one-turn is pretty easy to get. You basically need double sidestep or stand firm pieces to be able to prevent it without Juggernaut, which nobody's going to have this early into a career, right?
Even I can manage to get 1 push.
That's why I took Juggernaut as like a 4th normal on one of my Storm Vermin. Because now you can't stop me from getting 1 push.
So there was a death for the rats, and it was the thrower. I don't think you mind too much losing your thrower, but it is a little bit early still for the team to go without it.
It depends on how you want to play. So the thrower's useful early, but you're probably going to get to a point where he's just a more expensive line rat. Because Skaven are really a 6-core team. The 4 gutters and the 2 vermin are the only pieces you really care about. Early sure hands is nice on the thrower. You're never going to throw with him. He's going to carry the ball and occasionally hand off to a gutter runner, just generally speaking. So to me, it's a piece that when it dies, you maybe don't even bother to replace it unless it really factors into how you want to build the team. Some people advocate strongly for building a ball carrier thrower. Give him Blodge, give him Fen, stuff like that. I personally have not run a thrower in over 4 seasons, and I just let one of the gutter runners carry all the time.
I think that's fair. If anything, I'm just that'll make sense to me. If anything, I'm just wondering, is this too early to have lost the thrower? I mean, I think you still don't even replace it. You just rush your hands on one of your gutter runners, probably. But it would probably have been more ideal to still have that thrower for at least a couple more games, I imagine.
My guess is he probably replaced it only because he rolled movement 10 on 2 gutters, which means he's one skill behind getting a natural ball carrier. Because you don't really want to, you want to switch over to your gutter as a carrier once he's got blodge, sure hands, or maybe blodge step, or something defensive like that. I think he's got maybe one blodge gunner. I mean, he's got 2 movement 10s. One of them is wrestle because he's building a sacker like you should. So I think he might not have a natural carrier yet. The flip side of that is you don't have any sure hands risks. There's no wood elves in this division, so you're not going to face the leap strip. Honestly, Kislev is probably going to be your biggest threat to a gutter runner carrier early because of the leap wrestle and leap wrestle tackle, which one of the linemen will get as soon as it hits level 3. But that's basically it. Everything else is going to be just caging against bash teams, and you're just going to outrun them. So I don't... You could replace it. You could not replace it. I think it's a choice. I think another 6 or 7 games in, if it happens or happens again, you don't replace it, and you just build one of your gutters to be carried. But I could see taking another one early.
Yeah, that all makes sense to me. Okay.
Only 3 armor breaks for the lizards, which against rats is the key to having a bad day. Especially rats with movement 10. The way you beat rats with movement 10 is you kill all the line rats so that they can't protect the gutters, and then you kill the gutter runners. That's how you beat a stat freak gutter runner rat team.
Wait, what? What happened here? Okay, so the lizards only have 3 armor breaks, but they have 4 removals inflicted. And I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm pretty sure that these stats only count if it happened in a block. So why don't these numbers add up? How do you have more removals than you have armor breaks? That's really weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna chalk that up to Blood Bowl 2 being its lovely self. Let's look at some teams.
He's only got 2 SPP from injuring, so he only got 2 credited removals on a player.
Right, let's look at some teams. We have 2 that we want to look at today. Let's see if I can find them. I believe one of them is Primal Concrete Sledge, the Chaos team. Wait, we were going to look at this team, right?
Yep, Chaos.
Yeah, okay. Great. I was second guessing myself there for a second. Right, so this lovely team has 5 blockers, 1 dodge, 1 guard, and a clear dedicated killer.
Yep. And 12 players. Which this early might be a little bloaty because you're going to run, I mean, they're going to be up almost 400 TV against some of the teams in this division. But on the flip side, I don't know that 400 TV is going to help those teams against this team in this division, so...
It depends on the team, I suppose.
Yeah, well, the low TV teams are going to be like the Chorfs, the Humans. And, yeah, as far as this goes, this is a great start. You got Wrestle on 1 Beastman to do sacking things. You picked up a whole bunch of Blodge to help with the 1 in 9 problem that early Chaos has. Dodge on a Beastman, you're probably gonna look to build that as your carrier because it's the closest, most worthwhile level towards building a carrier. Because even though you didn't get Agi, at least you'll be able to give him Blodge, and so Blodge Sure Hands is still a pretty solid carrier.
Speaking of that, actually, I very much like it that the coach hasn't gone, Incesticide has not gone early in on a carrier. I think a common mistake for Chaos coaches is that they try and build a ball carrier really early on in their team's development, but it's much better to wait until one naturally forms. First of all, most teams you're playing against in a rookie division just aren't going to have that much that will force you to need sure hands. But other than that, it's much better to wait until you can get a double or ideally an agility up for a ball carrier, because then that's a much, much better ball carrier. And not only that, but as a fringe benefit, if you wait, it allows you to spread around the love for touchdowns more easily, and your whole team will develop much better if you're scoring on all of your players instead of only one or two.
Yeah, I think from here, probably going to carry on your dodge player to try and get him blodge as his next level. As a bit of a focus on your touchdowns, because with 4 beastmen with block or wrestle, you're kind of past the point of 1 and 9s killing every drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now I think you start to look to develop your key players, and I would take block next over sure hands on that beastman probably.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just on the off chance somebody else rolls an agi, because a blodge beastman is still going to have other value if you don't make him the carrier.
Yep.
But so short term, I think you carry with him, get him block, spread out SBP a little bit here and there, because you're still going to want to feed the warriors whenever you get the opportunity to feed the warriors, because their development is obviously more important. But I think you're past the point now where you need to force feed a whole bunch of different beastmen, because you've got block guard, you've got a couple of block, you've got wrestle. It's not as big a problem as it was when you started.
I think I agree exactly. You take block for sure. Then if something else rolls agility up, great, you're set. If not, blodge is still a great starting point for a ball carrier. Other than that, I think I like you said, I would just like to see a little more development on the Chaos Warriors, and they're looking okay. But I think that in a few more games they can be looking better than okay.
Yeah, I think this team is 2 or 3 levels from looking really good for early development.
It's also probably going to be looking at... It already has a level 2 stadium, so... No, you already have security gate. Never mind. You've already done that. You beat me to it. Clearly, you've been getting better winning rolls than I have. Other than that, there's a sacker here. There's a dedicated killer doing it the right way. I'm not sure I have much more to add. Like, this looks like a solid Chaos team after 7 games total? 7 games total. By the end of the season, it's probably going to be like relatively scary, and it has enough skills now to perform pretty well in the middle of the season.
Yeah, short of losing a bunch of players, which he's got armor 9 and armor 8 and defensive skills, so it's not likely he's going to lose a bunch. But short of that, I think by the end of the season, this team's going to be looking pretty good.
For sure. Now let's look at the other team we were going to look at, which would be these guys. Wait. Okay, no. It is the humans. We're looking at the humans.
No, we were looking at the Norse.
No, oh, you're right.
We're looking at the Norse.
Damn it.
Today.
You're right.
Humans and Chorps are going to be for next week.
Yeah, no, you're right. Oh, I actually did do it. I thought I looked at them and I went, wait, no, this isn't right. But then I couldn't think of what was right, so I just went, no, we're doing it.
You really need to cut back on the day drinking, man. That was
let's go with that. Right.
The Norse being the first team in the list there.
Yeah, no, I found them. Once I was looking for the right thing, I easily found it. This team is also pretty good looking. Has the Norse amount of block. It has Mighty Blow on the Yeti. It has guard on a lineman. I don't love Fend on the guard lineman, to be honest. I think you could have chosen. I think anyway. It's not a terrible pick. I just don't love it. I think, if anything, the thing that stands out to me here actually is that there's not a lot of SPP on positionals, except for the one who has Mighty Blow. As you know, funny how that works, right?
Yeah, I seem to recall him missing at least one of these berserkers for a game. Yeah, Fend on the guard lineman, I agree, is a little interesting. I mean, in theory, if he gets punched off, it lets you reposition him somewhere else. In practice, he's just going to get punched down the line more often than anything else. He already went Fend on another lineman, so he's stacking it. I mean, in a vacuum, I think Fend on it, that particular piece is bad. The way this team is going, I think it's less. It's not optimal, but it's not a terrible pick. Probably. Yeah, I guess I don't know what you take instead, though, with
Tackle.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I don't know how much that's going to help him this season specifically. And he's already got a tackle lineman. Do you just go tackle on all of your linemen?
Oh, that's true. He does already have a tackle lineman.
I know you go dirty player if you're playing correctly on a couple of them, but
yeah,
that might just be me.
I'm actually not sure what you do take after guard on an. I mean, ideally, you don't level up after guard on a Norse lineman. I think, unless you roll a double or something, just block guard is really good to have. And there are
as like the cornerstone skills that you would want would be things like stand firm, dodge, but they're all doubles. So on a normal, what else do you give him?
And
I guess so. In that light, I guess Fend is not. You could go the Ornan route and give him shadowing.
Okay, so sure. You know what? Shadowing with guard is actually not the worst. I can think of things that I like a whole lot less than that.
I guess as looking at the normals, I guess it's basically what do you give him? I guess Fend is as good as anything else you could give him.
Yeah,
there, right?
and don't get me wrong, Fend is actually a good pick on Norse lineman. I just don't like it on the guard lineman.
Yeah, I just like I said, barring anything else on a normal, he just doesn't have great level ups to take after guard. Because the normal level ups are going to be things like tackle. Tackle would be okay, but he's already got tackle. Dirty player, you're never going to put on your guard player, obviously. So, and it's not like they're going to take kick or anything like that generally. So, I think it's just he's going for the Fend stack, and I don't think he had any better options for it. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with that logic. Like I said before, though, I think the one thing this team really needs is SPP on his positionals. Both Ols are rookies. Both runners are rookies. Apparently being scoring a lot on the linemen, I guess. The Yeti getting Mighty Blow is good. Now it'll take care of itself, essentially, but I think Spaceline really needs to focus on getting those first level ups on the rest of his positions.
Yeah, he needs his ball carriers developed. The Berserkers are looking okay. I mean, his strength up is great. The Mighty Blow is almost to its next level, so he's already got a good run on a killer, so not really concerned there. The Ulfs, okay, so you don't really get many opportunities to force level the Ulfs. They're kind of going to level as they level at whatever speed they decide to get there at. Sometimes you maybe try to do Agi 2 catch plays or something when you're way ahead, but opportunities for that just don't come up very often. So it's understandable that the Ulfs are basically just trying to catch MVPs. But I definitely think he probably should focus on some runner touchdowns in his next game or two.
You can also do things to help speed them along, though. Like, let's see. Does this show blitzes? It does not.
Yeah, well, and Frenzy is like fake tackle, right? So.
Yeah, like you can blitz with them more, and like this is at 5 out of 6. It'll get that blitz eventually. For that matter, you can just do a vanity pass. I mean, it's not great, but I mean, it's a 25% chance to Okay. Well,
Yeah, no,
actually, that's not that bad. One
I
in
think
four chance
maybe
to get a level up on an Ulf. I would take. If
I
I'm
think
not
maybe
scoring
you
anyway,
just
I would take it.
I think you just focus on positioning them slightly suboptimally to allow them to get their frenzy blocks in more frequently, and hope that they catch a good armor break roll into an injury.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's the ideal situation. I'm just saying there are
My
other
gut
things you
says
can
he
do.
probably just uses them like strength 4. So the problem if you use them like a standard strength 4 player is they're often going to get into a position where they'll frenzy trap if they throw a block and they already don't have block. So
And
that's my guess as to what they're doing, which is how you're going to win games, but it's not how you're going to get them developed. So it's that trade-off of do you care more about trying to develop them versus maybe playing what we'll call perfectly.
And I have to admit, I actually have no idea what you take on a runner for Norse. They have agility access and they have dauntless built in, and that gives you a lot of options. But I don't know what the best thing is for that one. It's kind of a weird player, but I think we've just about covered this actually.
Yeah, I mean the runners you're going to build one as a ball carrier, so dodge and sure hands is his first 2 levels in some order, depending on if you care more about the failed pickups or the extra survivability and the ability to try and run 1 and 9 off of a busted K. The second one, it's kind of, do you want to build a second carrier, or usually because they're also the fastest player on your team, you'll build him as kind of a safety player, so he'll get tackle and things like that.
I do also think there's a lot to be said just about, because this player has built-in dauntless, right? So that's very useful for breaking open high-strength teams. But you know what? I think we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. I think. Do you have any final thoughts for this team?
Nope. Like I said, I think you need to focus some SPP on your runners and hope you get some lucky off SPP.
I agree completely. Okay, let's look quickly at next week. We have the Exqueakables versus the Thompsons. It seems likely that the Skaven will win this match.
Yeah, it's going to be another hard one for the humans. Movement 10, gutter runners, and you don't have early skills. You're going to have to just pound them into the ground and hope that their armor doesn't hold up, I think.
Next we have Meat Squad versus Big Ma's Blitzers, which I think could go either way.
The Lizard team is down their Crocs and a Saurus for this game.
Are they down their Crocs again? They just got that.
Their brand new Crocs took an armor bust already.
Oof.
And it looks like their Saurus is just missed next game. So this is going to be 5 Saurus, 1 with block against 5 Chorps and 2 Bulls, as I recall, at about even TV.
Yeah, I still think that could go either way.
Yeah, as the Chorps don't have the guard yet to deal with the Saurus.
They don't have the can openers
The Saurus
yet.
don't have any skills. So it's going to come down to everybody gets caught stuck on things, and then can the skinks do skink things, or can he get some skink deaths off of all those tackle Chorps?
Pretty much, yeah. Next we have Hell's Kitchen versus the Thunderous Puffins.
That I think I give this one to the High Elves.
I'm gonna say Norse.
I don't think 1 tackle is good enough.
I think it's a close game though, no matter what.
Yeah, this feels like a 2-1 probably.
Like a close to 1 where there was some real risk of the ball being turned over.
Yeah, these kind of games to me, it's going to come down to one of these teams is going to get the ball back on their defensive drive with like 3 or 4 turns left, and I think the High Elves are better positioned to be able to score off of that than the Norse are.
I think the Norse are better positioned to have to force the early score though. Is the thing.
Only 1 mighty blow, no dirty player. I don't know. I don't think they are.
Well, I don't know.
I guess 2 Mighty Blow with the Yeti, but I don't usually
Mm.
count the Yeti because they're unreliable Mighty Blow.
Last of all, we have Primal Concrete Sledge versus Slan.
Kislev gonna get a whole heck of a lot of inducements, I think.
Let's see. They are at around nearly 400.
It's gonna be about 250 after loners, I think.
Oh, that's still enough to induce most of the star players. It is not enough for Slibley. Although I'm not sure Kislev would want to induce Slibley against this team, actually.
Yeah, I don't know that he helps you here. To me, this is like Wizard in a Bribe territory, or Wizard and Babes, or maybe Wizard and an extra 12th loner lineman. I'm not sure what they cost on Kislev. 60 plus 30 would be, what, 90?
I don't
Plus 50.
I don't think Kislev has any really cheap star players either. So, yeah, I think the
Yeah,
Wizard
so
does seem likely.
It's probably a Wizard, and then if you wanted the bench, I think it's 90 for a journeyman extra lineman. Or if he's got the money, he might even be able to get an extra blitzer, just because I don't think he's running a full stack yet.
So I do think this matchup actually slightly favors the Kislev, but the asterisk is there. I don't think this one does, because they just are. The Chaos has too many skills that they don't have.
Yeah, this match happens early, it's everybody has no defensive skills, and it's whoever's block dice go better. But at this point in the season, definitely the Chaos has been able to develop better because of the unlucky catcher luck that this Kislev team has had. So I do think this game probably favors Chaos because of that, but I think there's going to be enough room for random chance shenanigans that the Kislev could pull it off.
I think that's a good assessment. Okay, is that all? Are we
probably take a look at the leaderboard?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. So we have Skaven in a clear lead with basically the whole rest of the division 3 points behind them. Or half of the division, anyway.
Yeah, still pretty early to call, although that Skaven team everybody's going to be playing catch-up, and it's no surprise that they're already playing catch-up.
I mean, it has 2 Movement 10 gutter runners in a rookie division. What else is going to happen, right?
Yeah, one of them will probably die. Statistically, gutter runners die.
Yep, that's true, but then there will still be one left over. Yeah, I don't really have much to comment on this here, but I just think I agree that it is a good thing to show.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard. Exequables, High Elves, Chaos, Norse, the teams that are doing the best with their development currently are at the top of the leaderboard. And then the teams that have been having some rough games, Kislev, the Humans, the Chaos Dwarves at the bottom. Obviously, a lot of games left to go. We'll be playing everybody once, and then having a mini Swiss for, is it 4 games? Right, 12 games this season? 5 games?
How many? Let me think here. 4 games, and then 2 games for play-ins.
Something like that.
Or maybe 3 games, then 2 games for play-ins.
I think it's 4, because I think we're at 7 games with the 8 teams, and then 4 games gets into 11, and then 2 games gets into 13. Yeah, yep, that should be it. So they'll have 4. You'll play half of the div a second time, roughly. And then play-ins will be against all of the letter divs, so you'll basically be 50-50'd into the teams doing well and the teams doing less well. But, yeah. Like I said, still really early to be able. Nobody's pulled ahead far enough, and obviously only 3 games played to say easy, clear this advantage. But I expect over the next couple of weeks that we're going to probably see 1 or 2 teams kind of pull out of this pack here.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. But at the same time, like, who really knows? Like, we have definitely had plenty of seasons in Rebel before where just the whole division was a mess of everyone within a couple points of each other for until like the literal last moment. So
I have been in a position in Div 1 where I was both 3 points from playoffs and 3 points from relegation. Just saying, that does happen. And that was 2 games to the end of the season, I think, at that point. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, because this is a new division, relegation is the bottom 4 teams in the div get demoted 1, and then playoffs for Div 1 were the top 4 teams that year, I think.
Of course, relegation is not relevant for a lettered division.
Right.
Okay. I think we are done now. So, I hope you've all enjoyed. This has been KS Blue.
And I am Ninja Pirate Assassin.
And have a good night. Bye.
See ya.